Good morning. It's Advent. As if you couldn't tell, it's not like we're subtle, right? Welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living, and clearly we are embracing the Christmas spirit this morning. We're so happy that you've joined us. Unity of Palmyra is an open and affirming community. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. If this is your first time with us here, extra special welcome. Please join us downstairs. Holly is doing fellowship today, and it smells delicious downstairs. So you definitely want to come down and join us for that this morning. So let's take a nice big deep breath. Whether you're sitting in this sanctuary or you're watching us from home, I invite you to become still. As we enter into this season of Advent, the season of preparation, as we prepare to honor the birth of the Christ consciousness in each and every one of us. And so we take time to become quiet, to let go of the busyness of the season, to let go of the shopping and the cleaning and the decorating, and to simply allow ourselves to be just for the next hour. To allow ourselves to be filled up with the Christmas spirit, with the love, the joy, the peace, the hope, and the faith of this wonderful season. And as always, we enter into this experience together with gratitude as we say thank you for this time to come apart in this beautiful sacred space. And then we say thank you for this space and whatever safe space you are in right now. And finally we say thank you for one another, for the love and the connection, the compassion, the generosity of this community. We are so amazingly blessed. And so it is. Amen. So it's the season of Christmas carols. So in order to get 2 Christmas carols in every service, if we could get 3, we would, but we just couldn't make it work. We're going to open with a Christmas carol, and then we're going to gather back together from hugs and handshakes with another Christmas carol. So this is your cue. They're going to play through the song once, maybe twice, but when you hear them start to sing, come on back. All right? That's your cue for this season. Let's stand and sing, "O come all ye faithful." Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us together now in our vision. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are on your journey. So if you want a hug, we will bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, just extend your hand and we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we understand. We will respect whatever bubble you create around yourself. Have fun. While you're hugging, hello, hello, put ornaments on the tree. Put ornaments on the tree. While you're hugging, please feel free to go over to the tree and put an ornament on the tree. And you can sing while you're doing that. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the Son of Righteousness, hail the heaven-born Prince of heaven-born Prince of Peace. Hail the Son of Righteousness, light and light to all he brings, risen healing in his wings. While he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. That's great. Have a seat. Unless you're putting decorations on the tree, and then keep doing that. All right. Some announcements. 'Tis the season of lots of announcements. First of all, our prayer chaplains today are Dan Christopher and Debbie LaTulip, and they are both in the sanctuary with us this morning. So they will be holding sacred space for us during the service, and they'll also be available over on this side of the sanctuary if you are in need of one-on-one prayer after the service. The angel and hat tree are still up in the rose room. We have 4 angels left on the angel tree, where we are collecting toys and clothing for children in support of this. Are 3 angels left. Okay, how many? Okay, 3 angels left. Do I hear 2 angels on the tree? And speaking of the Salvation Army, our bell ringers raised $592 for the Salvation Army. Let's part of being a welcoming community out in the community. Our Ye Old Holiday Shop, otherwise known as the annual Christmas Bazaar, will be out until December 18th. Did anybody else feel like today should have been December? Yes, I said to Jackie, "Oh, we forgot the birthday slide." And she said, Mom, it's November 27th. We don't do the birthday slide on the last Sunday. Okay. So December 18th, we will be breaking that down. The Blue Christmas dinner and service is this Friday, December 2nd. If you are planning on coming to that, please do sign up because we set the table for that and we want to make sure that we have enough place settings for everyone, and it is a potluck. And one of the things that's kind of makes it extra sweet is we do encourage you, if you are coming to share memories of a loved one who has passed, we invite you to bring their favorite dish. And we don't care if we end up with 17 desserts or, in my case, 14 green bean casseroles. It's whatever. We trust that it will be the perfect meal for that evening to share our memories. It is the deadline today for the Opera Fudge orders. Gwen said you can still place an order today. Please see Gwen after the service to place that order. We have decided that we're going to, because we didn't really have a hug meeting in November because of the Love Feast, and boy, is December really full. So we've decided what we're going to do is we're going to have a November-December hug meeting next Sunday. So next Sunday, the 4th, will be the hug meeting for November and December, and then we're just going to kind of hit the ground running in December. So now, Ms. Holly, would you please read the daily word?
Hello. I read today's word earlier this morning, and I wanted a little testimony. Because the words today are hope and faith. Before I started coming to this church, when I would have opened my daily thoughts about my spirit, it would have been fear and judgment. So I want to thank this congregation and this church because now I totally relate to hope and faith. Hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith. As Advent season begins, I say no to pessimism or hopeless notions that may have crept into my thinking, dimming my hope and weighing on my mind and heart. Today, I say yes to goodness and positivity. I feel a sense of renewed hope dawning within me, a promise that something wonderful is on its way. In these moments, I feel my faith reborn. I reaffirm my belief that no earthly condition, no worldly circumstance is greater than spirit. This is where I place my faith, in the power, presence, love, and grace of God. As I call upon these divine attributes within myself, I perceive them more realistically in others. I grow in faith that together we have the power to create the world of our highest imaginings. And from Romans 15:13, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. I light this candle for hope and faith.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs
So this is the time of the service where we consciously enter into prayer. We recognize that every thought, every word, every action is prayer. And every chord is prayer. Or non-chord. Even discord sometimes is prayer. So at this time, we consciously recognize that truth, that our lives are prayer. And so today, we celebrate our first theme of Advent, hope and faith. And we build on Holly's powerful sharing. As this time of year, we consciously shift. We are given such a powerful opportunity to surrender to the joy of this season, to shift from fear and judgment, doubt, worry, regret, into hope and faith, peace, love, and joy. If only for these 4 weeks we allow ourselves the gift of catching that Christmas spirit, of letting go of any cynicism or doubt. We let go of any pessimism around the human condition, and we vow to see the good, the pure, the loving, the compassionate. We commit to looking beyond appearances, beyond what is, into what can be. We hear the words from Miracle on 34th Street. We embrace that faith is believing even when common sense tells us not to. So this season we let go of common sense and we believe in goodness. We believe that ultimately it is possible to carry that goodness into the rest of our year and into the rest of our lives. And so for anyone struggling right now with any challenge, whether it be physical, financial, relational, we embrace you. We love you. We see you as whole and healthy and joyous, and we hold that vision for you. And if you are experiencing joy right now, we invite you to share it with us. Bring it on. Spread that energy like glitter. And so we take just a moment in the silence to allow in that love, to allow in that hope and faith, peace and joy. And we remember that today and every day, together or apart, we are always connected at the heart. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You our dreams come what may. There's always tomorrow with so much to do and so little time in a day. We all pretend the rainbow has an end, and you'll be there, my friend, someday. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far away. We all pretend the rainbow has an end, and you'll be there, my friend, someday. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far away. Tomorrow is not far away.
Do y'all remember where that song comes from? No. Rudolph. Yes, Rudolph is feeling very dejected. And his friend, Carissa, wants to offer him hope. And so she sings There's Always Tomorrow. It's a song of hope, a song of hanging in there until tomorrow. So, welcome to Advent. Every Advent we come up with a theme. So this year our theme is going to be based on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. So we have our traditional hope and faith, peace, love, and joy. And every week I'm going to be talking about those themes and then bringing in one or more of the characters from A Christmas Carol to kind of bring it to life. And then just a reminder that on Christmas Eve, we are going to be performing the radio play version of A Christmas Carol during our Christmas Eve candle lighting service. And I was sharing the little script that kind of goes along with the service with the cast. And in the welcome, I say, welcome to Christmas Eve, and this is going to be a little bit more different from our traditional Christmas Eve service. And Gwen said, Steph, you've never done a traditional Christmas Eve service. Well, we like candles, so that's traditional, right? But this is going to be even more non-traditional, and it's going to be wonderful. So I hope you all plan on coming. So today is hope and faith. So before we get into Dickens, I want to talk a little bit about hope and faith and the relationship between them. It's interesting because these are the traditional Advent themes, not just in Unity, but kind of across the board: hope and faith, peace, love, and joy. And for years in Unity, we would go back and forth. One year it would be hope, and then the next year it would be faith. And then several years ago, they decided it's just going to be hope and faith, because that way we don't have to keep track of what year we're doing. And I'm glad that we made that decision, because to me, hope and faith are related. They are in relationship. So let's look at hope first. There's a wonderful quote by Nikki Bowness. If you only carry one thing throughout your entire life, let it be hope. Let it be hope that better things are always ahead. Let it be hope that you can get through even the toughest of times. Let it be hope that you are stronger than any challenge that comes your way. Let it be hope that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now, and that you are on the path to where you are meant to be. Because during these times, hope will be the very thing that carries you through. So hope, the very thing that carries us through. And then there's faith. Now, every year when we talk about the 12 powers, we do take a deep dive into faith. And I want to just do a shallow dive into faith right now, because what I want to get to is the relationship between these two amazing qualities. So faith is our ability to perceive the reality of the kingdom of God, which is we're swimming in. It is that substance that we live and breathe and have our being in. And it is a belief, a faith that what swims in that is good, despite evidence to the contrary. So faith is a spiritual power, but it's not necessarily a religious thing, because whether you have a religious belief or not, you have faith in something. Because faith is whatever we give our mental and emotional attention to. So, have you ever said to yourself, oh, I just wish I had more faith? Right? Anybody want more faith? Especially these days? Matthew says, according to your faith, be it done to you. Because here's the thing, we all have faith. We all have all the faith we need. What we need to get clear about is, what do we have faith in? And we know what we have faith in by looking at our lives. So what do we pay the most attention to? That's what we have faith in. Look at your energy throughout the day. Look at your home. Look at your surroundings. What are you surrounded by? What do you spend most of your time on? Your job? Your degrees? Are you focused on your money, your friends, your cars, your retirement accounts? Sorry, shouldn't have brought that up this morning, but what do you notice about what we're putting our faith in? Our natural tendency is to want to put our faith in what we can see and touch, except that's really the opposite of what faith is. Because if an outcome is guaranteed, you don't need faith. If you know what's going to happen, you don't need faith. If life is completely predictable, if we only have faith in what we think is observable, then we really don't have faith. Because what happens then is, when things don't turn out the way we think they should, we say, but I had such faith. Where's God in this moment? So we need to ask ourselves, what do we have faith in? And do we have faith in goodness, in spirit, in compassion, in generosity, in kindness, despite evidence to the contrary? Faith is believing when common sense tells you not to. Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of the Unity Movement, said, faith is the perceiving power of the mind. So our mind is able to perceive that which is beyond what's obvious. Thank goodness. Nothing would ever be invented. We would never do anything new or revolutionary or amazing if we didn't have faith in what was beyond the obvious. We wouldn't have lights. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Which reminds me of another quote that's kind of confusing, but bear with me. It's absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. I'll say that again for the confused faces. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because we don't have evidence that our present situation is working out for us doesn't mean that it's not, and doesn't mean that there's an absence of good. So how do hope and faith work together? I found a neat perspective on this as I was preparing for today. Hope keeps your faith alive until the things you are believing for are pulled from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. So hope helps to keep our faith alive. We have faith in what we can't see. We have faith in what can be. But when our faith falters, hope helps to keep it alive. I love this perspective from 1 Corinthians. Keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, and be strong. Keep alert. Faith needs to pay attention. Back to, what are we paying attention to? And what does it mean to stand firm? What does courage have to do with faith? And what about strength? I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage to have faith in the goodness of mankind. It takes a tremendous amount of strength to believe that there is so much good out there when we are surrounded by negativity. I think it's also interesting because when we study the 12 powers, faith and strength are partners. The power of faith and the power of strength are partners. Because we're not talking, when we talk about strength, so much about physical strength, although that's not a bad thing. What we're talking about when we talk about our powers is that inner fortitude, that quiet, steadfast, centered, grounded strength that partners so beautifully with faith. Strength grounds our faith. So we're not shaken every time something happens that we don't think should. Like COVID and wars and shootings. Strength grounds our faith that there is a better way, and we are going to be part of that better way. Strength is also considered to be the power that connects a head and heart, that connects our intellect and our intuition, because we recognize that both are important. Strength helps us stay balanced and grounded and supports our faith. So faith and strength and hope all help us to see the bigger picture, to get outside of ourselves, to meet our challenges. So this brings us to A Christmas Carol, and as we were going through the story and the script, I was trying to figure out who exemplified each of these qualities. And hope and faith, Fred, Scrooge's nephew, just leaped off the pages. Because of all the characters in the story, Fred has such hope and faith. Fred just absolutely keeps on believing that he will have a relationship with his Uncle Ebenezer. So, back to, what do we have faith in? So what does Fred have faith in? So first of all, Fred has faith in love. There's a scene in the very beginning where Scrooge says to Fred, "Why did you marry against my wishes? Why did you marry this poor, dowry-less," I think that's a word, young woman? And Fred said, "Because I fell in love." Fred didn't care about convention. He didn't care about wealth. He didn't care about his uncle's opinion of the woman he fell in love with. He married her because he fell in love. And of course, Scrooge scorns that love. But we learn later in the story that Scrooge at one point was in love with his wonderful Belle. And because he lost sight of what was more important, because he shifted his faith from love to money, he lost the love of his life, which contributed to his path towards cynicism. So Fred has faith in the power of love, and not just the love for his wife, but love for his Uncle Ebenezer. Next, Fred has faith in Christmas. Fred loves Christmas. I think that's why I identify with Fred so much. There's this wonderful piece. It's like a little teeny tiny monologue where Scrooge again is chastising him. And why do you love Christmas? What do you have to be thankful for with Christmas? And Fred says, there are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited. I dare say Christmas among the rest. But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time when it has come round as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that it has done me good and will do me good, and I say, God bless it. Now, at that point, Bob Cratchit applauds, and Scrooge threatens to fire him for applauding that, in true Scrooge fashion. Because Scrooge only sees the frivolity of Christmas. He only sees what he thinks of as the wastefulness of Christmas, that he has to pay Bob Cratchit for one day of not working, and how cheated he feels. So today we may say that today Scrooge would probably rail against the commercialization of the holiday. But Fred saw underneath that. He saw underneath all of that to the hope that the season brings, the hope that we could live from that place of that kind, forgiving, charitable, and pleasant place. Fred refuses to become cynical. Absolutely will not become cynical about love or Christmas. And finally, Fred has faith in his Uncle Ebenezer. He absolutely believes that he is capable of changing. His wife doesn't agree. His wife says, why do you speak so kindly about your uncle when he's so nasty to you? I'm paraphrasing here. Hopefully Dickens isn't rolling over in his grave. But she doesn't understand why every year do you insist on inviting him to dinner when you know he's not going to come. And not only is he not going to come to dinner, he's going to berate you for believing in Christmas. Why do you do this to yourself every single year? And Fred says, I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself, always. Here, he won't accept our invitation to come and dine with us. And what's the consequence? He loses a dinner. And at this point, Fred's wife interjects and says, and it's a very good dinner, too. He says, the consequences of his not making merry with us is that perhaps he loses some pleasant moments which would do him no harm. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he will find me going there year after year to share my good tidings. Now notice Fred, who the implication is not well off. I mean, he makes a living, but he's not rich, not like his Uncle Scrooge. He didn't marry rich. He married for love, much to Scrooge's scorn. But he pities Scrooge because he sees that his cynicism, his lack of faith and hope, has brought him only misery. Marianne Williamson wrote, to trust in the force that moves the universe is faith. Faith is not blind, it's visionary. Faith is believing that the universe is on our side and that the universe knows what it's doing. Faith is a psychological awareness of an unfolding force for good, constantly at work in all dimensions. So it's really important to notice that Fred's faith was not blind or naive. He didn't cancel his Christmas dinner because his uncle refused to attend. Right? He honored Scrooge's choice. He obviously had compassion for his uncle's choices, but he held on to his vision of what could be while continuing to live his own life. He went ahead with his plans. He was having a wonderful time with his wife and his friends, regardless of Scrooge's choice. But when Scrooge did show up, it was the icing on the proverbial cake, or the coin in the plum pudding. And it brought them both such incredible joy, because Fred had faith and he had hope. Voltaire says, faith consists in believing when it is beyond the power of reason to believe. So I can't talk about hope and faith without the annual reading of Yes, Virginia, There is a Santa Claus. Because to me, that old editorial exemplifies hope and faith. So 8-year-old Virginia O'Hanlon wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Sun, and the quick response was printed as an unsigned editorial on September 21st, 1897. We've since found out that veteran newsman Francis Pharcellus Church wrote that editorial, and it has become one of the most reprinted editorials in history. So this was Virginia O'Hanlon's question. Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. So please, tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon, 115 West 95th Street. And this was his response. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except what they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, mankind is a mere insect, an ant in its intellect, as compared with the boundless world around us, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would the world be if there was no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus. You might as well not believe in the dancing fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but there is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Do you ever see the little fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not, but that's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory behind it. Is it all real? Oh, Virginia, in all this world, there is nothing else more real and abiding. No, Santa Claus. Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. They do not believe except what they can see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. How many of us succumb to that kind of faith and that belief that only what we see is real and only what is currently demonstrating is possible? Thank goodness visionaries and philosophers for millennia have thought and lived differently. And thank goodness Fred thought differently. Let's take that into meditation.
I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well.
Oh, so I invite you to breathe. Breathe so deeply that you feel the breath move all the way through you and out your toes. Feel the breath swirling through you, nurturing you, enlivening you, filling you to the brim with hope and faith. And on your next breath, I invite you to breathe into your heart space. Visualize the breath warm, circling your heart, hugging your heart, loving your heart. And as you continue to breathe into this space, feel your heart warming, glowing, expanding. In your mind's eye, see little flames of love, of hope, of faith. Flickering gently. With every breath, the flames grow until they extend beyond your physical form. And the warmth that they create goes beyond you into the room, shining, flickering, engulfing everyone around you with your love, your hope, your deep and abiding faith in a better world, a loving, kind, forgiving, generous world. And soon we see this entire room filled with that warm glow. That glow that begins in each one of us. That glow that this room cannot contain. We know that we can take this glow with us wherever we go. We use every breath to remind us of the possibilities, of things not seen, but that we know can be. We know that with every breath, we can experience hope and faith and share that experience wherever we go. And so, like Fred, we deny the appearance of cynicism or greed. We look only for the good, the true, the joy of the season. Like Fred, we say, God bless it.
I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love, you are love, we are love, all God's children are love. When we trust and we let go, we know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know that all is well.
So this is the time of our service where we thank you for your incredible generosity. Every time you give to this community, you are demonstrating your hope and faith in what we bring to the greater community and the work that we do here. We are so very, very grateful.
I usually don't say anything before a song. When I was a little boy, my father, a crooner, frequented a family friend's cafe and bar. And around this time of year, the gentlemen of his age would gather together and they would sing in four-part harmony and Christmas carols, and there was one of them that stuck in my mind, and I didn't realize until many, many years later that for each of them, the first time they heard the song, they were somewhere else. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas time will find me where the love light dreams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. If only in my dreams.
Ken said he was always grateful he got his father's voice and not his mother's. Thank you, honey. That was beautiful. We thought that was perfect for today because Scrooge's dream was that, or Fred's dream was that Scrooge would be there, and he was by the end of the play. So, thank you. All right, let's stand and share in our unity blessing. And please look around the room, beam out into the ethers as we say together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. And let's sing the peace song with intention. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to
let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Go forth, go forth, go forth. In hope and faith. It didn't sound right when I said it. And have a wonderful, wonderful, joy-filled week. Please join us downstairs for fellowship. Bye-bye, YouTube and Facebook land. We love you.